Hi everyone and welcome to another video. Last week I came to you with a video which was a lovely reflection of everything I'd done across 2023 in both my work life and my personal life. And I want to carry on those videos because the closer it gets to Christmas and the end of the year, the more I'm getting excited for 2024 and want to put some of those plans in place. So today I'm going to be doing two things. I want to show you a spread that I've done in my bullet journal, which was a really lovely reflective exercise, and then I am going to bust out my goals planner and I'm gonna work on setting my vision for 2024. There's a double page spread here. This one that I've hidden, I'm gonna show you in another video. So it's this spread on the right that I wanna show you. So obviously I did all that reflecting of all the things I'd done. If you haven't seen that video and you wanna see how I did that, I will link it for you. And then after that, I wanted to do a really short consolidated list of 23 wins and 23 things that I'm grateful for. And I just thought I would share them with you quickly because it's nice to keep a record here on the channel and I like sharing these sorts of things with you, and it'd be really lovely if you did the exercise to hear what some of your wins are or some of the things that you're grateful for. So these are my 23 wins in 2023. I rebranded my business. I attended 4 planner events. I booked my first trade show, very exciting. There are more shops stuck in oh, that's a bit of a tongue twister. There are more shops stuck in Sunshine Lane. You try that, it's very hard. We moved to our dream house, me and my husband and my dog Maggie. I worked on my friendships, that's something I'm very proud of. I expanded my Patreon community to 30 plus, love you all. I released products I'm proud of. I gained 1.1 thousand new YouTube subscribers. Thank you all for watching. I practiced setting boundaries. We started our adoption journey. I grew in confidence. My products are helping others. I survived the not so great days. Strengthening my relationship with Liam, that's my husband. Making treasured memories. I believed in myself, which I think is not something that I've done in the past, and so I wanted to put that in. I tried to be kind and spread joy. I worked on asking for help. I tried lots of new things. I improved my drawing. I kept some plants alive. Now, I kept most plants alive. One plant I said to my husband, it's fine to put in this little compartment in the car when we were moving house. And he said, you'll forget it's in there. And I said, no, I won't. No, I won't. Forgot it was in there. Killed it. And I've grown through my experiences. So that's my 23 wins. And I wanted to include a list of work, personal, and as well as kind of easily recognized achievements, like you got a certain grade in something, you gained a certain number of followers, like those that are really identifiable. I wanted to think about some of the things that are more to do with personal growth and development, like believing in myself, gaining confidence, trying to be kind to others, asking for help, setting boundaries, those kinds of things, because some of those are some of the harder things that I had to try and do this year. And while the results aren't necessarily as easily measurable as some of those things where you can put a number on it, I think, you know, I can feel in myself that I've made improvements in those areas. And I just wanted a place to recognise that and to give myself a bit of a pat on the back for a job well done this year. So I recommend you do the same. Now, if I'd done a list of things I could have done better, you know, there'll be a list of those as well. But we focus on those all the time. And I just think it's really nice to have a place where I've recorded 23 wins. I'm going to try and do it each year. And obviously it's going to get harder trying to come up with more and more. And then my 23 things I'm grateful for. So, without further ado, my husband and our marriage, Maggie's happy little wags, Maggie's the dog, just, I'm pretty sure that's clear. Fun times with my mum, my friends, my Patreon community, my customers' support, my stockists believing in my products, the small business community, having a lovely home and studio, that I can do what I do as a job. I put myself, which kind of came to me, this number 11, sort of halfway down the list. And I think I should show gratitude for myself for supporting myself throughout the year. It's important you recognise the impact you make in your own life, if that makes any sense. Seeing the Northern Lights, very grateful for that experience. New experiences, there were a lot of those. Happy memories. Living near a lake. support from other adopters as we go on our adoptive journey. They've been popping up all over the place offering support, and it's been really nice. Having a nice social worker. Now, I used to be a social worker, and I think in every career you get good eggs and bad apples. And I'm very grateful that we've got a lovely social worker. It's something I was nervous about, and she just seems like so nice, so on the ball. Hi Claire, if you're watching. Shouldn't watch these. Not sucking up at all. Naps when I really need them. Now that's definitely something to be grateful for. When I was working a proper job, you know, like traditional 9 to 5, I just had to try and push on when I didn't feel well. So being able to take that rest when I need it is fab. Getting to learn new things. Watching TV in bed, I put, because when we moved into this house, I'm pretty sure it's the first time I've ever had a TV in the bedroom, and that's because the previous owners had it built into the wall and just said, do you want it? Because otherwise it's just going to be a hole. And I don't do it all the time, but sometimes I get in bed early and I get under my weighted blanket and I just will put the telly on, put some YouTube on, or put some just nonsense like police crime shows or like documentaries, like anything. I just like a bit of rubbish TV in bed. Time spent laughing and having fun, noticing the little things, and time to be creative. And then I popped a little bit of this washi that I've got left, which is my Get Motivated washi tape, but it's sold out in the shop at the minute, which is just like full of motivational phrases. And so I put some of those on the bottom. So I wanted to share that with you because I think it's a really quick and easy thing you can do. You could make it super decorative if you wanted. I didn't. I just did a nice list and I used a stencil for the numbers. It was like a pretty font because my lettering isn't great, but I really love how it turned out. And I love having that record in here, and I will show you the other page that I did in the next video. So now what I want to talk about is goal setting. I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. It's fine if you do, you know, I'm not knocking it, but I do think that there are problems with setting annual goals, and that is that you'll probably forget them. Like you'll have this initial burst of motivation in January, then it'll start to dwindle a bit, and by mid-year, have you even remembered what they were? Then you get towards the end of the year and you think, oh God, what were the goals I said I wanted to reach this year? And then you're scrabbling trying to do some of them at the end. And it just doesn't seem like the most efficient way to me to keep motivated. And it's also hard to know where you're going to be really like more than 6 months in the future. Like if you look back to my reflection video of how much I've done this year, there's no way I could have foreseen half the stuff that happened at the end of the year earlier on. I was only just focusing my business on self-care. By the end of the year, the whole landscape looks so different that I confused myself and I thought it must have been 2 years ago because things had changed that much, personally and professionally. So I think to me, and research has shown, that 90-day goals are much better. And so this year I'm going to be digging out my Just 90 planner. I've been using the principles, but I haven't strictly been using this planner over the last 6 months. And I think, well, I know from prior experience that it's really going to help me in 2024. And so I want to follow the process more rigidly like I did before and as it's intended, and I want to share it with you on this channel. You can get the Just 90 planners in my shop, but obviously I am going to be explaining the processes and things in these videos. But if you did want your own copy, I will leave a link below and also a discount code if you have grabbed one whilst watching this video. But it's a guided planner which essentially takes you through the whole process of setting a vision of where you want your life to be and then breaking that down into goals, projects, right down into the individual actions you want to take to get you to that end point. And it's got built-in check-in points so that we're not burying our head in the sand and just hoping it'll all work out for the best. We're looking where things have gone off track on a regular basis and just re-diverting things. So it's really, really helped me stay on track with my goals in previous years and make significant progress because I'm not burying my head in the sand and just avoiding it when I know things are going wrong, which I know is so easy to do. So in this video, I want to focus on the first section of the planner, which is setting a vision. I've done this previously, but I recommend if you've got one of the planners every year or so, do the first section again. You can buy refill packs on my website where I send you just the pages and it means that you can replace them in your planner because it's disc bound, and you can update those sections and do it again, because like I said, life can look so different. And the other thing I should mention is I have a video coming up which is going to be about all the planners and tools and systems that I'm going to be using to keep on track throughout 2024, and as part of that I am going to be building the Just 90 planner in Notion, so I am going to also include a link to purchase a digital template as well. It won't be ready when this video comes out, but just so you know, if you're a digital planner, that option will be coming, because I think that's going to work better for me this year. But I am going to do the vision part on paper for now. So without further ado, let's get working through this section of the planner. So the first section, which is the vision section, starts with an exercise on what led you here. And it says there was something that led you to this planner. It could be one big thing, a series of little things, or a combination. Perhaps you feel like you need a fresh start, or like the things you've tried in the past just haven't been working for you. Maybe you don't feel as happy as you could be, or maybe there's something big you want to work towards, but you don't know where to start. I want you to start by really thinking about what led you here and how you might want life to look different in the future. As well as asking what, you should also think about how you want to feel each day, the type of person you want to be, your relationships with others, things you want to accomplish, and things you no longer want in your life. And write your answers in the space over leaf. Don't worry about being neat and organised, just get out any thoughts that come to mind. Remember, this is your planner, so do the exercises in whatever way makes most sense to you. So I took the not being neat to heart, and my handwriting on this page is atrocious, but the most important thing is I started to empty my mind. So the first thing I wrote down is, I know this system works for me. I've tried it before numerous times. I love it. It works for me, and I've made significant progress. So I think that's an important piece of key motivation for me to remember. I want to make sure that things that are important to me don't fall to the bottom of the list, which, yeah, can be an issue in terms of priorities and trying to fit in too many things, and then things that actually should have been more of a priority have been slipping off. I want to feel in control when it comes to working on my goals, which again, I feel like I've kind of just been running on this treadmill and I haven't had time to properly think and plan about priorities. I want balance in my life. Isn't that an ongoing one? I don't want to be trying to do it all, so you can see there's a similar theme. I want to focus on the things that will make the most difference to my life, because I know that I can't do it all, so I want to be stopping to think about what's going to make the most significant difference to me, and let's focus on that first. So those were my initial thoughts. And then there is just a page in the planner that basically explains that when you're doing these reflective exercises, it can be a little hard sometimes, and it can bring up emotions that are difficult and things that might feel a little bit raw, and maybe you weren't even expecting to have a strong reaction to something. And so it's important to take the time that you need to process things. If you need a little bit of time out, you know, you can leave it, come back to it. There's no pressure to do it all in one go. And then the next exercise is, where is life today? So these first exercises are really establishing a base point of where is life now before we think about where we want it to be. So it says, make some notes on where you feel life is today. What does it consist of? How does it feel? And then there are a list of questions that can be used as prompts just to get your thoughts flowing. And then once you start, chances are it'll all come to you. So I wrote, I live with my husband and our dog Maggie. I have family and friends that live nearby. I go to a women's group once a month and try to meet friends every few weeks. As in my friends, not new friends. I talk to my friend Joe most days. I also have friends I chat to online. Oh, there's a typo there. I'm autistic and have fibromyalgia. I need to pace my activities to make sure I do not have a flare-up of pain and fatigue. I see my mum often and my dad maybe once a month. I rarely speak to my siblings and would like that to be more. I run my own business, Sunshine Lane, full-time, and I am proud of how the business has grown in the last year. I juggle running the shop, my YouTube channel and Patreon community. And I thought as I was writing it, maybe juggle is giving a clue as to my frame of mind when I think about all the things I'm trying to balance. Sometimes I think it's interesting to read back and look at the words you've chosen and what meaning they might have. I love doing creative things and feel lucky that I'm able to do this in my work. I also try and do creative activities that are just for fun. I like being out in nature and going for walks. I also like reading and playing games. And then I realised I hadn't got to this yet, and I wrote, we are in the process of trying to adopt a child. So yeah, pretty big one about where our life is now, but it's kind of where our life is headed, if that makes sense. Then I ran out of page and I thought that is enough to get going, and I've kind of thought about all different aspects of my life in that. So social, health, friends, work, personal, you know, really across the board. It's nice to consider a mix. And then the next page is the life satisfaction check-in, which I love doing. I find it quite hard to score things sometimes, and the reason I like this is because there's no right or wrong when it comes to the scores. It's just a bit of a guide for you, so however it most makes sense for you. But the important thing is then thinking about why you've given it that score and writing some notes. So the exercise says, you've started to think about where your life is today, and I now want you to consider whether this is truly what you want it to look and feel like. Consider these 8 different areas of your life and give each a satisfaction score from 1 to 10, with 10 being the best it could be. Be sure to think about what your true feelings are and not what you think others expect you to feel, or you might feel pressured to feel, you know, all those other things. Try and think what is most important to you. And then make some notes on why you gave the scores. And you can refer to the what led you here exercise and the where is life today to really think about each of these areas. So I'll go through them each in turn. For physical, I wrote 5 out of 10. And I said a plus is I walk Maggie every day. And then some minuses, I'm struggling to lose the weight I gained after surgery, which was last March. So yeah, 1 year and 3/4 ago. And I know I'm not fueling my body with the right things. So I've kind of chosen to do them as pluses and minuses. It's not necessarily good and bad, it's just things that make it more difficult, or things that I'd like to improve on. Then for emotional, I scored it an 8 out of 10, so much higher. And I said a plus was that I have built up a lot of coping mechanisms and feel much happier in who I am. The previous Just 90 Planner videos are still on this channel. I've popped them all in a playlist. And if you went back to those original videos, I guarantee that's not what I would have written. Adoption is busy and stressful is a minus. Obviously adoption isn't a minus, but this is where I'm using minuses as this is going to make this area more challenging, because obviously having something that's busy and stressful in your life is going to impact on your emotional well-being. And then I wrote the link to chronic health difficulties, because trying to juggle chronic health difficulties is hard, and when my physical health takes a dip, it's hard for my mental health not to take a dip too, and for me to feel frustrated and kind of trapped if I can't do things and things like that. So there is always going to be that element there, because I'm always going to have those chronic health difficulties. So it's something that I'm going to need to keep working on. Then home and family, I rated 6 out of 10. And I said, I love my home, but there's lots to do. So we moved into this house in April, and yeah, we haven't really finished any rooms yet. And when our adoption social worker came to look round, she was like, yeah, you'd need to sort these rooms out before a child moved in. And we were like, yes, don't worry. It's nothing huge, it's just that we haven't had furniture, so we haven't finished unpacking, there's decorating to do, blah, blah, blah. And it's just another thing to juggle on top. But we finally got some furniture in the living room this week, so we're getting there. I said, I have a close relationship with my mum and Liam. And then I said, I'd like to spend more quality time with Liam and do more together. Then flicking over to the next page, for social and community, I also rated it a 6 out of 10. And I said, I've got a great friendship with Joe and the Acorns. We know what that means, it's just a little name for the group. I have the Autistic Women's group that I've been attending for about 18 months on a monthly basis. I feel connected to people with similar interests online. And then I just said, but I would like to see my friends more, both in person and people that live further afield. I would like to make the effort to meet up in person. Professional, I put 8 out of 10. And I said there's been loads of progress in the last year, as evidenced by the last reflective video. And I love what I do. And then I said I'm trying to build up as much as possible before adopting, but need balance. So I've been really working as hard as I can to get the business as established as it can be before we adopt a child. And I would go on adoption leave and obviously take a step back. And I need to keep building the business up to a point where it could keep running, even if it was on a lesser basis, whilst I took a step back. But it's important that I don't just throw everything in the kitchen sink at it to the point where I don't have a social life, I don't do anything for myself, and it's at the expense of my health. So there needs to be a balance. Spirituality and values, I put a 7 out of 10. And I said I feel proud of what I put out into the world, and I try and create things that have a positive impact on others, and I try and be kind to others. So I'm pretty happy with where that is. Financial, I said 7 out of 10. So I said things have improved in terms of the business, but more stockists would help this, especially as I'm losing 2 that have been really good. Not through any fault of mine, just the shops are coming to an end because they were pop-ups. Just to clarify. And then passion, I said 8 out of 10. And I said, I feel grateful I'm able to do what I love for work. And then I said, I need to make sure I also have time for non-work related creativity. So pretty happy across the board with where they are. And then it says, now take some time to reflect on what you've written and think about which areas of your life you might want to prioritise. You may want to put a star next to those areas to help you remember later on. So I've got my sticker box out, found some stars, and I chose to star 3 areas that I think will be my focus. The first is physical health, which scored the lowest. And I think it's important for me that I've got those foundations right, especially with having chronic health conditions. The second is home and family, because there's a lot to do on the home, and obviously it is a time-sensitive matter with going through the adoption process and needing to get a home, functioning. And then just from the fact that I said I'd like to spend more quality time with Liam, because we are going through something stressful, and so I think having fun things scheduled in to counteract that will help balance with the stress. So I put that as one of my stars. And then the last one was professional, which I scored highly. I scored 8 out of 10. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the one that scored the lowest. The reason I put this as a main focus is, again, the time-sensitive nature of adopting and trying to get the business as established as possible before that takes place. And I talk more about that in other exercises. So that's my life satisfaction check-in. And at the end of the 90 days, spoiler alert, you do it again. Don't look at this, but then compare it back and see where you are. And I always find that really interesting. So then over the page, it says you're really starting to think about how you might want life to be different now. And that's great. And you might be tempted to rush ahead to thinking about how you would achieve this change. But first, you need to face the reality that you don't always know how to achieve your goals. And I think this is true even going through this planner multiple times. If you did, you'd likely already be there or have made significant progress in that direction. If you rush to the how, you might face obstacles and quickly decide the task is impossible. It seems too overwhelming because you haven't taken the time to shift your thinking. And so then it talks about the other things you need to consider before setting your goals and why it's important to have a deep emotional connection to your goals to sustain motivation. So I won't read it all, but there's a lot of useful info in there. And then the next exercise is what's important. So we've kind of looked where things are, and then we're moving to what are the priorities in my life. So the first question is, what does being happy mean to you? And I wrote a lot of different things. I said, living a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling, feeling calm and supported, enjoying the little things and finding the pockets of joy, making memories, and spending quality time with the people I care about. And then it asks, what does being successful mean to you? And I said, all of the above, plus not doing those things at the expense of my health. So I think I used to have very different notions of success. But in the last few years, it's definitely been more about feeling happy, content, fulfilled in my life, because we only get the one, and I want to use it wisely. What do you want in your life that is not currently there, such as people, experiences, skills, and so on? And I wrote, more me time where I still have the energy to do something creative, because quite often the me time I get is when I just collapse in a heap at the end of the day and I sort of half listen to a TV show and or I mindlessly scroll on my phone. I feel like it's not time where I've got the energy to really enjoy something or do an activity. More face-to-face time with friends, more quality time with Liam, a feeling of control, not like I'm running on a treadmill, very important. And then over the page is, how do you spend your time? So firstly, it says, list your current commitments and how you spend your time. And I wrote work, and then I broke it down into the different areas, which was enlightening. So I wrote designing new products, managing the shop, wholesale, going to events, YouTube, Patreon, social media, marketing and selling, and admin. Now I know there's more things that could probably go on that list. So yeah, it's quite enlightening as to why I feel like I'm juggling when I am only one human. Caring for Maggie, health related things, so going to appointments and like treatments, rest when it's like enforced rest. It's not, oh, I quite fancy a lie down. It's like, you'd better have a lie down or you might not feel good tomorrow. And then managing medications, prescriptions, all of that stuff. Social and downtime, chores and errands, as well as the bigger house projects. The adoption process, big time sink at the minute, but a good one, like I keep saying. And hobbies. And then it asks, do all of these make you happy and or have a clear purpose? And I said, they all make me happy, except chores, of course. But when combined, it's so much to juggle that it feels stressful. Often during downtime, I'm too tired to enjoy myself or engage in my hobbies. So yeah, I guess that's a bit of a reflection that the individual things are all things I want in my life, but combine them together and suddenly they don't produce as much happiness as they could because they're all rushed and stressful. Do you want or need to add anything? I said, I'd really like to bring back the Autosphere, but how on earth would I fit it in? So that's a blog I used to write about my experiences of being autistic and what I was learning through research and stuff like that. I'd really love to do more on it. But yeah, in reality, I don't know where that goes at the minute, but I wanted to just capture it. More downtime and hobby time, but with some energy. Regular journaling time, which I've been doing more of, so I'd like to keep that up. I'd love to start dancing again if I could find a fun class locally. And more movement and exercise and time to prep healthy foods. And then I added on more quality time with Liam. So I went over the box. There's obviously loads of things that I want, as if I've got room. And then it says, do you need or want to remove anything? And I wrote, yes, please. Clearly I need to remove some stuff. And I wrote, work needs to be streamlined to provide better balance and to prepare for taking a step back later in 2024. So I need to think about how I do that. I haven't necessarily got the immediate answers, but I need to be thinking about how. I've got some ideas though. Then the next exercise is use your imagination and imagine your life years into the future. What will have mattered? And I said, time with the people I care about, investing in my family and trying to be the best mom I can be, which was, yeah, a strange thing to write and almost feels like I shouldn't write it yet because we haven't been approved, you know, long way to go, blah, blah. But it's where I imagine my life and I wanted to just kind of commit to what do you picture. And I know I'm not going to be the best mom in the world because who is, but what will have mattered is that I've given it my best go. Happy memories. pride in what I've put out into the world, and that I took brave steps and tried my best. So that's what will have mattered to me. What won't have mattered? Trivial dramas, time spent scrolling online, numbers such as number of followers gained, number of subscribers, things like that. And if I didn't always make it, which I think I kind of mean, like, if things didn't quite go as expected, if I didn't get quite where I wanted to go, because sometimes things happen. Like, I've had such big changes in my life, and actually looking back now, it doesn't really matter, because it's led me on a path to where I am today. We learn things from it, we grow, and so yeah, I think I was just trying to remind myself that, like, not everything needs to go to plan. And what will people think of you? And I said, I'm kind and caring, I tried to support others, I'm fun to be around, and I'm unapologetically me and do things my own way. So there's a little nod to my little unapologetically me pin and what that means to me in terms of how I'm trying to just embrace who I am and know that it's okay to do things differently to how other people do them, and finding what works best for you is the best way. And then there's an exercise that I'm going to do off camera, and I'm going to do it at another point, which is what's holding you back. And essentially it is talking about limiting beliefs and the things that we say to ourselves that can hold us back from reaching for our goals. And then the next exercise is flip the script and turn all of those things into positive, empowering statements. And then you end up with a set of positive affirmations that you can read aloud and help you challenge some of those negative beliefs about yourself. So then I moved on to crafting my vision, and for some strange reason, I wrote my answers on the wrong page, but it doesn't matter because it's my planner and we all make mistakes. So never mind. The Crafting Your Vision exercise says throughout this section, you've thought in depth about your life and whether it's currently making you happy. You've challenged yourself to start thinking differently about yourself and your dreams by challenging limiting beliefs and redefining what success and happiness mean to you. You've examined your current commitments and thought about whether they still feel important to you. Firstly, I want to say a huge well done. It's difficult work that takes time to complete, and your motivation to complete it shows that you're in the right mindset to make the significant changes needed to work towards your goals in a different way. Take some time to read back through the exercises you've completed, because reading it all together can help shape your thinking around the type of life you want to live. So that's what I did. Start to make some notes on the page over leaf, did it on the wrong page, about how you want your life to be moving forwards. Write everything you can think of and think about what feels most important. When you've done this, turn the page and write out your vision for how you would like your life to look and feel in the 8 areas of your life that we rated before. So I kind of wrote things just in the order they came to mind, because this initial page is just getting thoughts onto paper before you kind of construct a vision in the 8 areas and write out your vision statements. So I wrote balance is key and making sure I continue to stay well. And then I said, but feeling even stronger than I am if possible. Try new ways of working and create the space to properly explore this. Don't get stuck in the ways you've done this before. Learn to outsource and delegate, which I've made progress on, but I need to do it in a much bigger way. And I know that without creating the space to work on that, it just won't happen, because I'll be still stuck on this treadmill of endless things to do. I want feelings of calm, control, comfort, strength, and joy. Making memories and experiencing new things is important. Combine building strength with fun. It doesn't have to be a chore. So something like a dance class could help me exercise more in a fun way. Get clear on my finances, because I need to know business-wise what money I've got in the pot to outsource and delegate. I want more social time and hobbies. The adoption journey will be a huge focus, and remember to take it one day at a time. And then I flipped the page, well, 2 pages because of my page mix-up, and then you have your vision spread. And the idea is to write a statement for each of the 8 areas of your life. And so I wrote a few sentences for each about how I saw my life in those areas, how I wanted them to be, how I wanted to feel, imagining that I am in a space where I am taking steps towards this vision. So for physical, I wrote, I will be stronger. This will involve ongoing work that I will do. That's featured in the vision statement forever, but it is still true. I will see building strength as a fun part of my routine. I will set myself up for success by fueling my body with healthy foods, and I will rest when I need it. And I think it's important that everything is kind of phrased as a positive. Like, I'm not writing on here things like I will have lost weight or like I won't eat sugary foods. I'm talking about the introduction of positive habits, really, and saying like I'll set myself up for success by fueling my body with healthy foods. Doesn't mean that I'm never going to eat a chocolate bar again, just means that I'm making sure I have the healthy habits in there. Emotional, I said I will feel calmer and in control. I will implement my coping mechanisms to help support my mental health. I will speak to myself with kindness and practice self-compassion and gratitude. For home and family, I wrote, I will be working on home renovation projects to bring order to our home and make it nice and cozy. Because, yeah, I think it's nice for me to have that cozy feel in mind when I'm thinking about the vision. I will put regular effort into maintaining the relationships with those I love and growing our family. And I will have regular date nights with Liam. He doesn't know that yet. You probably know before he does, but that's the vision. Social and community, I wrote, I will feel part of communities relevant to me and my interests. I will invest in quality friendships with people who share my interests, values, and outlook on life. And I will have more regular in-person social time. Professional, I said work will not be at the expense of my health or other areas of my life. I will create products and content that spread positivity and inspire self-care. And my products will be stocked in more shops and more people will know about Sunshine Lane. Spirituality and values, I wrote, pursuing personal growth and development will be an active practice. And then I added a little note that said, including as a parent. So part of the adoption journey is skilling ourselves up on all things therapeutic parenting, parenting in general, child development, blah, blah, blah. Not blah, blah, blah. Important things, but you know, and so on. I will treat others with kindness and practice gratitude, and I will be brave and reach for my dreams, and I will try and inspire others to do the same. And then for financial, I wrote, I will grow my business with a focus on expanding the wholesale side of my business. I will spend mindfully on things I truly need and that bring joy to my life with a focus on experiences and memory making. And then under the final section of passion, I wrote, I will devote time to the things I enjoy, both inside and outside of work. So again, having that balance. I will be inspired by others and live creatively. I will share my learning with others, and I will try not to let fear hold me back. So those are my 8 vision statements, and I'm really happy with them. And it feels inspiring, motivating. I relate to the things that are on the page. Like, it gives me all the goosebumpy feels when I read them. That's not just the cold in here. And I don't think that would have been possible without going through the reflection that I did and then going through these exercises to really kind of funnel all my thoughts in, sort them out, think about what's important, and then having done all those exercises, it kind of filters you through to crafting these vision statements. Now, as I move forward to actually setting goals, I'll be choosing specific areas of my vision to focus on. That's not to say that the rest of it doesn't matter, but what we know is you can't do it all. And it's better to choose a few priority areas and make significant progress on those, and then come back and look at the other areas of your vision and think, right, what do I want to work on next? So I'm going to be looking at those 3 areas that I starred in the life satisfaction check-in, which is physical, home and family, and professional. And I'm going to be setting some goals for the first quarter of 2024, which is very scary but exciting. So that is going to be my next video on this channel, and then after that I'm going to be reflecting on my word of the year for this year how that went and choosing a new word for 2024 and putting it together with a lovely vision board. So there's loads of lovely goal setting and planning videos coming up on this channel between now and the new year. So like this video if you enjoyed it, leave me a comment and let me know what you thought and if you're planning on trying any of the exercises, and make sure you subscribe if you're not a subscriber already so that you don't miss out on these videos that are coming up, because I think it's going to be a really fun series and I am honestly so excited to be back into the goal setting, all things goal setting, all things productivity and just setting myself up for success. I really do think that doing the planning in advance and making the space for it gives you the best chance of success when things get busy, when the new year comes. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye.